Hi there. I'm Ann Welker. I'm joined here today by two lovely ladies. I am the Suffolk County Legislator for the 2nd District, which reaches from Montauk Point to Mauritius Inlet. And today we're spotlighting the SouthFork Bakery. And I'm joined by Kristen Burke and Gabrielle Roy, who are two members of the team at SouthFork Bakery. Would you ladies like to start by talking a bit about your position at the bakery and how you came to be there, and just maybe a bit about SouthFork Bakery too, because it's quite special. Want to lead, Kristen?
Absolutely. So the bakery was started in 2016 and became a nonprofit in 2018. I was quickly associated with the bakery because as soon as I heard about it, I reached out to the founder to ask if I could bring some of the high school students that I was working with there to intern. I was working with high school students with disabilities on job and career skills and taking them out to internships in the community. And because the purpose of the bakery was to provide employment for adults with disabilities, it was a natural fit. And from there, I stayed in contact and did some consulting work over the years to help develop the launch program, which we're very proud of. That started in 2022. And that program is where, after we've provided our employees with training on workplace skills, employability skills, we help them obtain employment in integrated settings in the community.
It's so amazing.
So I joined July 1st officially as program director. And so the bakery is our training ground, really. That's where during work hours, we pull our employees out in small groups to provide that instruction and training. Once they've reached a certain level of employability skills, we then work with local businesses to set up internships with the goal of that leading to permanent employment. And it's been great. And Gabby can tell you a little bit more about launch because she is a launch participant.
Yeah. So I came into launch January 2023, and I actually started out in the office. I have severe anxiety, OCD, a whole bunch of fun things, ADHD. But I was told about this program. I've had other wonderful jobs in the past, but it's hard for them to understand that, hey, I'm on my way to work, but I might have to pull over because I'm having an anxiety attack. SouthFork Bakery understands that that might be something that might come up for me, or I might need to leave in the middle of a meeting. And just the understanding and empathy has been incredible and transformative. I'm so appreciative to be a part of this program.
Oh, that's wonderful. And what do you do in your capacity, Gabby? Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I assist the executive director, and I'm the marketing and development associate. And yeah, a little bit of everything, working on fundraisers and social media and all sorts of things like that.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. You have a fundraiser coming up. I might be jumping ahead a little bit with this,
We do. We have one coming up May 3rd from 4 to 7 at the Parish Art Museum. We have some great entertainment. We'll have the 80s bands, the Cherry Bombs, we're very excited for. We'll be having Loaves and Fishes and Sen providing some savory bits, and we'll have lots of great booze. We'll have, Montequila, and I can't think of the wonderful Sag Harbor with I love this place. Pink Sag Harbor Brewery.
Kid Squid.
Kid Squid, I love them, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's really going to be an incredible event.
Oh, that's great. And you have so many local organizations that are rallying around you to support it. That's fantastic. And this is fundraising for what specifically? Is it for SouthFork Bakery or is it for launch? Or is it for both?
In the past, it was, in the spring, they would do a bake-off, which was very much bakery focused. And this year, the whole format changed because the focus really is on launch and really making those partnerships and getting our employees into those integrated employment settings.
And who or where have you launched?
So we
I don't know
have
if that-
employees at various places, one at King Cullen and Hampton Bays, 3 at the Center for Rehabilitation and Nursing in Southampton. They've been a fantastic partner with us. And we have one who works at TJ Maxx, somebody is at the Hampton Library, somebody's at Heart of the Hamptons, and we have 2 who are about to start next month at the church in Sag Harbor. And very shortly, when the cafe opens in the Rogers Memorial Library in May, they will be employing 1, possibly 2 of our employees.
So are you doing the outreach to connect?
We've been
Launch
doing
to-
outreach, yes. We've reached out to local nonprofits that we may have had relationships personally with previously. But I also just gave a talk at the Hamptons Art Network. They meet monthly. They invited me to introduce Launch to them. And within minutes, I had heard from 3 other nonprofits reaching out to form a partnership with us. So it's growing pretty quickly. It's exciting.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And we also have new employees all the time reaching out, to join the bakery and get into the training program. I had one send an application in just yesterday.
Oh, that's great. How far away, because where is the actual bakery located?
So our offices are in Sag Harbor, but we rent space in Scoville Hall, which is owned by the Presbyterian Church in Amagansett, which can be a challenge in the summer for some of our employees to travel to. Some come from as far as Aquabog, Riverhead, and they're using SCAT transportation. So it can take them quite a while to get to work in the summers, but they still love coming to work despite the commute in the summer.
So they're coming on the Suffolk County bus, the bus that goes from Orient to?
No,
to-
the SCAT
this
is the Suffolk County Assistive Technology. So you
Ah,
have,
okay.
assistive transportation, sorry. So you have to be approved, and it's for individuals with disabilities
Okay,
who aren't able to access the public bus system.
okay, oh, that's good. I'm so glad that Suffolk County is helping to support, that's fantastic.
Yes, and even the Suffolk County bus on-demand system has worked really well for some of our employees who had never been able to really access the
Oh,
public bus on their own, but being able to request a ride and have it pick you up has really helped some of them
Oh,
gain
that's
some more independence as far as getting to work.
in the East Hampton area then. Oh, that's great. I'm so glad to hear that, because that was new last year. So we're still eliciting feedback, because this will be its 2nd summer. So good, I'm so glad to hear that. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. I will definitely take that back on report. For sure. I'm sorry, Gabby.
Absolute game changer for for many of our employees.
Oh, that's so good.
But even those,
great.
so the people who work in the bakery, right, are having to come all the way to Amagansett. But we do have some employees who don't come to the bakery, but they may work a farmer's market for us. So I'm just in the process of hiring a young man who's graduating from Hampton Bays High School now. And the commute out to Amagansett would be quite a lot in the summer, but we just joined the West Hampton Beach Farmers Market, so he'll be able to work that for us and do the reverse commute. So
That's awesome.
we're growing a little further west, which is great, and giving us more opportunities to work with more people.
How many farmers markets are you in? Because we have a busy farmers market community, for sure.
We are in several. So this summer, we will be in West Hampton Beach, Southampton, Sag Harbor, East Hampton Village, Springs, and Montauk.
Wow, did you miss any? I think you're in almost every
I
single
think
one.
we're in all of
right?
them.
Oh, that's wonderful. And so that's the bakery, so they're not, so, but that's training ground for
Exactly.
launch by going out and working in the community at the farmers markets. So great.
So we try to staff the farmers markets with a bakery employee and a job coach to be providing that training and support. So we're working on customer service skills, we're working on money handling skills, we're working on finishing a job, packing up, not just the setting up, but the packing up and
Right.
making sure things are returned to where they need to go. So yeah, we're taking every opportunity to continue developing those skills.
Talk a little bit more about job coaches, because I didn't realize. So each member of Launch has a job coach at their, like,
So I explained the farmers markets. We have a job coach who works at the bakery. So they're there to assist me in providing that direct instruction. And then when we place our employees at these integrated employment settings, we are providing the job coaching. We are doing a job analysis to make sure we understand the job tasks that are being asked of the employee, and then we're gonna fade as quickly as we can, fade that support. Hopefully, ideally, after a month, we can start pulling back a little bit, but all of that is very much tailored to the individual and their needs.
sure, it's just fantastic. You guys are amazing. Did you bring some pictures with you today, maybe?
We do have some employee photos.
Really?
Of
We
the
can,
bakery.
they'll come up in a
There's-
moment.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's Robert. He always has a great smile on his face. And such a dedicated worker, and he's breaking up some brownies there. We have from the left Brian Collier and Clay packaging. And there's Phoebe packaging as well. Also, everyone has just such beautiful spirits, and they're all so happy to be at the bakery. We have our job coach Jagger on the left, and then there's Peter, Brian, and Elliot.
Oh, that was Hunter.
That was Hunter. I had a feeling. And Phoebe and one of our newer employees, Kimberly.
Yeah, Kim's only been with us a few months, but she's already advancing pretty quickly.
oh, that's
And
great.
Elliot and Frankie doing some sealing.
That's great. And talk a little bit, oops, I didn't realize there are a couple more pictures.
Correct the fact that I said, so this is Hunter.
Oh.
And then
And
Elliot. And there's just one photo, Julian, you'll see him. There's Mackenzie at one of our farmers. No, this was at
Harborfest.
Harborfest.
There's a lot of setup.
Yeah, there's,
So we've been practicing the farmer's market setup once a month, going to twice a month as we get ready for farmer's market season. So the goal with that was not to just perfect the skills of those who already have been working the markets, but to try to encourage more of them to volunteer to work at the markets.
what's been great about that is we have employees that are, in addition to Kristen, running it. And we have Sarah and Sasha right now are kind of headlining that, and it's great. They can communicate. And,
That's so-
yeah.
They actually, or as I said previously, so they had a table set up at the East End Food Institute tea time.
Yes.
And I got to chat with them there and reconnect with them really, and they were thrilled. They were so happy. So I love that they're in like a little managerial.
Absolutely are.
The two of them both have been promoted from bakery employee to, launch employees. Sasha's training new people in the kitchen.
Wow.
As they come into the kitchen and start learning the recipes, she's kind of overseeing their training. It's great.
Sarah's taken on sales as well, and it's just, they're two remarkable young women, and
So they both live in Southampton?
they do.
So how do they get to,
They both drive.
Sarah's independent, yeah. they're
okay,
both.
perfect, good. That makes things a little bit easier, right? For sure. Was that all the
There was just
photos?
one, I was gonna, there's one we have of our, one of our employees launched,
Oh, in his work setting?
in the work setting.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are more, but I didn't include too many, but, okay.
Which work,
it's
is
one-
it?
Not this one.
Maybe it's the
That's
last one?
Elliot.
That's at the bakery?
That's at
Farmer's Market? Oh, I
Farmers
bet it's the
Market.
next one.
I think it's the very next one. Or the very, very next one. Okay.
Everything here looks very delicious, though. Your brownies.
All right,
Everybody has their favorite, once you've tried them.
Everyone does have their favorite.
Yeah.
and they're-
And the gentleman
This is
that
Julian.
is part of, has
Yes.
launched?
Yes,
What?
his name
maybe-
is John, and he is launched at the Southampton Rehab Center, where we also have Scott is launched there, and Peter is he's a launch trainee
Mhm.
there as well. And they've just been incredible partners. Yeah.
They really are. I mean, when they see something that's not operating quite right, with the trainee, they'll reach out immediately. We have a meeting.
That
And they're
communication.
appreciative of the fact that we're collecting data and we can have real conversations about where the employee might need a little extra support or where we may need to pull a task off of the task list to make him more successful at being independent at the job. The two who've been there longer, they've been there over 2 years at this point, they are completely independent at that job.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so great. So when did launch come about? Like how did that?
It kind of developed naturally. Our founder was working at a market and was chatting with another vendor who had just started a food business and was producing at the Calverton Incubator Kitchen, and she was in need of help. And it just kind of worked, and that's when I got pulled back in after not being associated for a little bit because I had continued to work on special education and that transition to adult living. And so I helped develop the job coaching program and the protocols for collecting data and staying in touch with employers.
It's fabulous. And talk a little bit about your data collection. That's an interesting part of things, but so important because then you can refer back and help going forward too.
Right, it really helps to have concrete information when you're having those kinds of conversations. So we do a job analysis, we're identifying the tasks, and then we're breaking those tasks down that the employee might have difficulty completing independently. So we're writing out step by step what needs to be accomplished and then tracking whether they're doing it independently or with prompting. And we do that on a daily basis while we're job coaching.
It's awesome. It's
We're
so
also
great.
collecting some data at the bakery as well on performance. We have our employees set goals for themselves. So I do an assessment and then they do an assessment of their own skills and we kind of compare them and give them the chance to select something they'd like to get better at doing. And then we're keeping track of how many opportunities they have to practice that.
Oh, it's great.
Of the self-awareness that they're developing through those. You can see the changes through each
Goal cycle.
Each goal
Time you
cycle,
Yeah.
yeah.
Goal cycle,
Yeah,
okay.
it's wonderful, just,
Right? Oh, that's awesome. And talk a little bit too about some of your products and where your products are besides farmers markets, because just so that people know, because you're out there with the bakery.
we
You're
are,
really-
we're wholesale, and you'll find us at every Hampton Coffee Company, most Goldbergs, Sylvester and Co.,
Katinas in
Katinas,
Southampton.
absolutely, you'll find us there, you'll find us, all of your favorite places will be there. We're in Scavoni's in Sag Harbor, and we're looking to expand.
And with the products, we've been, and I can't say I've been, but our baker has been working to update several of the recipes with the goal of making some healthier products, some more gluten-friendly, vegan-friendly products. So I had said everybody has their favorite, but we're very well known for our blondies. People tend to love those. But at Hampton Coffee, you're gonna find our biscotti right by the register. And our marshmallow squares are great there as well. My husband's partial to the chunkies, our chocolate chunkies, but that recipe's been under development, so we'll see where it lands. It might go back to the original.
He might lose his favorite. Oh, no.
I'm very excited, I'm vegan, so
Ah.
I'm very, very excited for some of these to be transitioning. The chocolate chunky, I think, is phenomenal and something to be excited about.
Did you weigh in on that? Like, was that because of you? Was the change
I
made?
might have like hinted
Gabby.
at it, but also I know the benefits, with a gluten-free diet and a dairy-free diet and how that can, that's why I became vegan, because it helped with my anxiety. And if we can expand that to everyone, that's great. If we can expand our options.
Do you talk about, like, do you educate your bakers and your launchers around being gluten-free and
Not,
so?
I would like that to be something that we work on in the near future, the nutrition and the impacts that can have. I think that would be a great
It comes up
seminar.
naturally
does,
sometimes
yeah.
with some of them because when they're taking their breaks, we may offer them some discard cookies or the edges of the brownies that we cut off. And we don't want anyone to overdo it. I can fall victim to that myself. So the more conversations we have about it, and I think it would be great if we could pull Gabby in to talk about some of that stuff
Every day.
moving forward.
I'm very passionate
Right?
about that.
Right, totally. No, that's so important. And it comes when it's a peer, it comes differently than from being, yeah, so that's awesome. I hope you get to do that, for sure, for sure. In looking at, in seeing your pictures, I see some familiar faces from our community. It's so wonderful. I didn't know, like Sarah and Sasha, I knew. But I didn't know that there were some, like Elliot, I didn't realize Elliot worked with you guys.
Everyone seems to know somebody,
Right?
and it's really
And
nice.
Phoebe too, I didn't know that Phoebe was involved, it's so great. And is Ian as well, do you know that name?
I do know that name, but
Okay.
he's not.
Okay, all right, maybe in time,
It's, the bakery's not for everyone,
right,
and that is our training ground.
right,
And some people who you may know have cycled through, they've tried it,
right,
and it just wasn't for them.
right. And it is, I mean, as you said, it's a little bit of a hike,
Yeah.
but it's such a great thing. And is the founder still involved? Is Shirley still involved?
She retired at the end of
Oh,
June, and when I
oh.
started July 1st.
Oh, so you didn't get to work with her then?
Well, but I have
She-
worked with her.
Okay, over the time,
And I
true.
did some onboarding the last
Okay.
few months that she was on and before I started. But we've stayed in touch. She's still available to me if I
She's
need
only
her.
a phone call away.
Thank goodness. Right, so she's aware then of how much new that you're bringing
Absolutely.
to this. Oh, that's great. And you also have an executive director that stepped in, right?
Yes, Steve
and-
Hamilton.
Oh, that's interesting. So Steve came from Bay Street?
Steve was on the board of SouthFork Bakery and then stepped into the role of executive director,
That's so
which is great because he knew all about it.
Right,
And that's often easier than having somebody who's not known about it come into that role. So I think it worked out nicely that he also started before Shirley left and
Right.
before I came on.
right.
Came in at such a pivotal time. We actually started around the same time, but such a pivotal time as far as the transitions that are happening. And Steve is just an absolute anchor of SouthFork Bakery and has been just such
Love that.
a lighthouse for everyone.
Right?
So
A lighthouse and an
incredible.
anchor. What more could you want, right? As a beautiful description.
we're very lucky with our staff.
Oh, that's great. And is there anything that's coming, because we'll wrap up in a couple minutes, is there anything that's coming beside the launch fundraiser and the farmers markets, the expansion of the farmers markets that you guys would want to speak about for people that are watching this in the spring or in the summer or watching it on YouTube as well?
There's nothing else specifically coming up, but I would like to encourage everyone to check out our social media at SouthFork Bakery LI. It is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Last week was Neurodivergent Awareness Week. Just the more that we can debunk the myths around disabilities, the better, because they can bring such assets to jobs. Often we're stigmatized as they'll need more support, but just the creative conceptual ideas that they can bring to a workforce is unlike any other and are valuable members of society. So just the more that we can share that, the better.
So those are such great words, Gabby. And I'm sorry, I wasn't aware, so March is,
Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month.
right, and
Last week was Neurodivergent Celebration Week.
So how'd you celebrate? With the blonde?
We just posted a lot on social media trying to just reach, yeah. Had a couple, it's a tough, long sentence to say.
Right.
So I had a couple of
Right.
employees that nailed it.
Yes.
But yeah, just really celebrating how boring would this world be if we were all had the same working type brains.
Perfect. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Those are great thoughts. Is there anything you'd like to add for for people to keep an eye out for the summer? Or something we didn't touch on
I
as we
feel
were
like
speaking?
we've covered a lot. I'm excited for the new partnerships with the new organizations that have reached out, and the farmers markets. We're in 6, but 2 of them are new. So it's kind of like a
We'll see.
newish experience. And I'm excited to actually get through the summer not being brand new at my job and trying to figure everything out. I feel like I will provide much better support this year.
Oh, that's great. And I love that you spoke with Han with Hampton's Arts Network too, and that you were able to connect straight away as a result of that, because that's a pretty large group.
It was a great group, and within seconds, like, the chat was filling up with
Wow.
people requesting information, and I have to thank Sherry from the church for that, because we first met with her to talk about them employing some of our employees, and she immediately invited me to join their next meeting and spread the good word, so that was fantastic.
Right? It's a wonderful community out here, right? And
Exactly,
once you
community.
once you start to get your tentacles out there, it just wraps in more and more. Thank you guys so much for the wonderful work that you're both doing to help others. It's
thank you.
just,
Thank you
it's
for
just,
spotlighting us. So
you-
appreciate it.
no, it's an honor, and I learned so much too. It was a pleasure to talk with you, and I will be keeping my eye out for sure at Hampton Coffee and at the
Always.
farmers markets too. Yeah, so we wish you the best of luck. Big thank you to LTV as we're going forward with this great conversation, but just thank you to you guys for doing the wonderful work that you are with
Thank you.
our
Oh, thank you.
community. Take good care and have a
Thanks.
wonderful summer too. Be keeping my eyes out for the blondies, for sure. Thank you, and hopefully your husband doesn't lose his chocolate chunk.
I think it's gonna be
Chunky.
more of an addiction.
Oh.
We'll see. I think it's even better. It's fudgy.
It is fudgy.
Nice, nice. That's great. That is a wrap.
All right, I know, I got to like see the